Welcome to Greenable Woodbridge. I'm your host, Carolyn Ehrlich. And aside from having a wonderful show today, we have our new sets. I am so excited. These sets are so beautiful. They're actually pictures of the butterfly garden at Oros Park. And they liven it up, and this is all done in-house. Our carpenters from Public Works, the team here at Channel 35, and I think it's a new beginning for a whole lot of great shows for Greenable Woodbridge, so thank you to everybody who put together these amazing sets. So for our debut show in this great set, I have the program managers for energy efficiency at both of our main utilities, PSE&G and Elizabethtown Gas. And this is a timely topic because it's starting to get cold and the energy is going to be going like crazy. The gas is going to be going to keep us warm, and we're always, even though it's not air conditioning time, we're always using electricity, even when we don't think we're using electricity. So you're going to get a chance to talk about that. So in Woodbridge, we always talk about the two greens of sustainability. The green of being sustainable and the green of the money in our pockets. And you two are the experts on both of those topics. So let's begin by just talking about tips that you can give to our viewers and things that you recommend.
Absolutely. There are many things that customers can do within their homes to save energy every single day. For example, they can check their hot water heater and make sure the thermostat is set no higher than 120 degrees. They should also check for leaky faucets. If you're leaking warm water, you're not only wasting energy with water, you're also wasting the energy to heat the water that's coming out of that faucet. In addition, they should look at how they cook on the stove. The flame should never be greater than the width of the pot that you're cooking with. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're heating the air around the pot and you're wasting energy. If you want to cook faster and save energy, cook with lids. When you're doing laundry, do the laundry with cold water whenever possible.
Yep.
Yeah, it works really, really well. And it works, unless you really have to use hot water, use cold water. Also, check the size of your loads. You want to wash a full load, but you don't want to overfill it because it really does take a great deal of energy to try to dry those clothes that are in that overfilled dryer. Also, when you set the timer on your dryer, it should be set based on your load size, not on the same timing every single time that you set the dryer to go. And then finally, we really do recommend people have programmable thermostats. That's a huge tip for people. This way, when they're in the home, they can have it set at the ideal temperature. But while they're at work or they're sleeping, you can change that temperature so that you're not always keeping that home well heated or air conditioned. There are a lot of tips that Elizabethtown Gas offers. We have a lot on our website. They can find that information by going to elizabethtowngas.com/Energy Smart.
Terrific. And what about with electricity?
So what I would say is that there's 5 major areas of where you're going to use the most energy, whether it's electricity or gas in your home. It's heating, cooling, water heating, appliances, and lighting. Right? So those are the areas we want to address, but nothing more greater than heating and cooling. That's really where you're going to use the most energy in your home. So when we're talking about heating, and I guess I'll jump in on heating as well, it's this time of year, it's a great opportunity to get your furnace or your boiler inspected and tuned, get ready for the season, not only for health and safety reasons, but also for efficiency reasons. When that unit is working efficiently, you're going to use less fuel, right?
It's a great tip.
Filters on that same either furnace, air conditioning, what have you. If that filter is clogged, the unit's going to be choked down a little bit. It's going to be used. It's going to operate a lot less efficient. So you want to be able to replace that furnace filter as per manufacturer specifications. Typically, it's every month. Some of them are annual. Depends. In terms of water heating, I think it's a great tip. 120 degrees on your water heater. You can also install aerators and low flow shower heads, like she had mentioned. And also, there's an opportunity there to put insulation around the water pipes in unconditioned spaces, especially because if it's an unconditioned space, has the potential to freeze as well.
Right.
And then on the electric side, appliances and lighting is what I'd mentioned. Lighting, we want to take a look around your house. Do you have incandescent light bulbs? They're a lot less efficient than replacing those with LEDs. For instance, a 60-watt incandescent bulb could be the equivalent of a 7 to 10-watt LED. That's real savings. Appliances. Your refrigerator should be set at 38 degrees, your freezer at 0. Take a look at what yours is set at. Make sure that you're operating it efficiently. Don't open the door just to kind of check in every once in a while. All that cool air actually does rush out. Unless there's some kind of action you need to take with that refrigerator to keep the door closed. So also just different devices around your house, like televisions and other electronic devices that will be using energy. If you're not in the room or if no one's using it, turn them off.
Right. So I have one story. I have cathedral ceilings in my living room, and I've been joking with my friends, what does a woman who lives alone do to change a light bulb? And what I did was I called a handyman, because I wasn't going to there was this squeezy thing that you put on there to turn it. I called a handyman, an electrician, and I said, just change all of my lights and make them, what is it, the
LED?
The LED, right. And I don't think I'm going to have to change a light bulb again for another decade. So,
that's right.
And my electric bills did go down. And then the other thing I did, and maybe this is something we can talk about now, is actually the envelope of the house. So my windows, God only knows how many decades ago, we put in new windows, and it just got to the point where they would open themselves. The window would fall down. So I finally was forced to put new windows in. My electric bill was cut in half this summer. It was just incredible. Wow. So maybe if you could talk about like home audits or what you could do with your living space that would save money and energy.
Well, we do have programs that are available for residential customers within the home. One of them that's brand new to us that we're ramping up right now is a home energy assessment, which we highly recommend. It's completely free for customers. It's a 75-minute assessment. An energy advisor will go through the home and check everything in the home, all the way through it, from attic to basement, to check to see how weatherized that home is. They'll also, as they're walking through, which makes this program kind of unique, is that they'll do some direct install of some energy efficiency measures right there on the spot, all for free. So, for example, if they notice that the customer does not have a programmable thermostat, or their current programmable thermostat is not functioning properly, they'll replace it for them for free. They'll set it, and then they'll teach them how to use it as well. They'll also do things like, they'll look at things you mentioned, like the faucet aerators. They'll look at the low-flow shower heads. They'll look at the pipe wrap for the water heater, like you mentioned before as well, and they'll do that right then on the spot.
That's incredible.
They also will give them a report, and the report will mention additional measures that they can take later on if they choose to do so. So that's a really great program. In addition to that program, we do offer another program. By the way, that first program is available for homeowners and renters as well. We also have a home weatherization program. This home weatherization program is available for income qualified customers only. In the state of New Jersey, we do have Comfort Partners, and I don't know if you want to take a moment to talk about that first, and then I can talk about the weatherization program, which is fairly similar to that one.
Sure. So New Jersey Comfort Partners is a Board of Public Utilities, New Jersey Board of Public Utilities program, but the utilities of the state administered on their behalf. And it's a low-income home weatherization program. Folks who are at 225% of the federal poverty guidelines or below can participate, and or if they're participating in a whole host of other income qualified programs, they can participate. And we come to their house, and free of cost, we'll do a full comprehensive home energy assessment, inclusive of health and safety tests and energy efficiency tests. We'll do the direct installation of lighting, refrigeration, air sealing, and insulation, depending on it, whether or not you qualify.
You actually do the work?
Yes, so all free of cost.
Oh my gosh, that's
for low-income
terrific.
customers. Yeah, it's actually a terrific program. And often we fix a lot of health and safety issues in the home that customers were unaware of that can help to keep folks from additional doctor's visits or potentially death in some cases with carbon monoxide issues. So it really is an excellent program for not only energy savings, increasing comfort, but also for health and safety.
So what can the town do to help you promote that?
Just getting the word out, doing things like this, having me on today and letting me chat about Comfort Partners, because often folks don't know anything about the program and the benefits behind it. So we do about 4,500 customers a year statewide, and that's all the utilities jointly administered, Elizabethtown Gas, PSE&G, and the rest of the utilities in the state administered on the behalf of the BPU. And so there's a lot of customers who participate, but still there's a lot of customers in need who could benefit from the services we provide.
So do you both look at the same things and do this?
Not necessarily. So what my program, so we have somebody who manages Comfort Partners in our office, but I have a weatherization program which actually looks at that next income level up. So there are many people who will apply for Comfort Partners but don't qualify because they make too much money. But then not necessarily do they take care of it or do they participate in any other program. So basically underutilized group. So we were looking at what do we do with these people. And so what we proposed and we're piloting right now is a program where we do similar to what the Comfort Partners program does. We do weatherization for that next income group up, all free of charge as well. So that's being tested right now, and it so far is extremely successful. And that's also available for homeowners and for renters as well.
Very good. So sign me up for the home energy audit. That just sounds great.
And actually, I think what you'll learn from the home energy audit is that windows are, although I'm sure it's helped in your case, windows are actually one of the lower on the priority list because
it's a long payback.
Right.
That's everybody always said. It's a very long payback because the windows are so expensive.
Right.
But for me, I guess I had such huge drafts in my windows because they were so old that I was apparently heating the whole neighborhood, air conditioning the whole neighborhood. So that was really, it was just great for me.
Yeah, and actually, what happens is there's something called stack effect in a home, which is with the warm air rises. We know warm air rises, right? And it escapes through the cracks and crevices in your ceiling and out through your attic. So it's like you said, you're heating the rest of your neighborhood. So if you can air seal and insulate that attic plane, you can prevent the stack effect from happening, or limit its occurrence. Actually, those drafts from your window will slowly dissipate as well.
And I imagine the older your home is, the more likely it is that you have these drafts and these problems.
That's right, absolutely. Balloon frame housing, especially. That's back in the day, we had wood where we could build homes in a certain way where there's major chaseways through the walls of your house. So if you're living in an older home, chances are you're feeling the effects even more than someone who's living in a newer home. When
my home was built in, I guess, after the war, and my grandfather came to look at it as we were about ready to build the house, and he said, "This won't hold up." But I definitely need you to come out and take a look at it. And one of the things that the township is thinking of doing is, I know BPU has a list of certified contractors who can go out and do this work. And we want to look at that list, find the people who are local, and put that up on our website. So once they have this audit, they can then know who to call to come in and get the work done.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So
we have other programs also for residential. So we have programs for everybody, and so you would either take part in a Comfort Partners program or our weatherization program, or you can go to the home energy assessment. That's for everybody. Everybody qualifies for that,
and everybody should do that.
Yeah, and if you end up having to replace a furnace, a hot water heater, or a boiler, we also have rebates that a customer will get in addition to the rebates that they get from the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. So that's great for our customers.
Right. So let's talk about the Clean Energy Program a little bit, because there is a lot of money coming back. I know the township has, through direct install, we have done amazing things and saved the taxpayers a lot of money, but you don't have to do that in town hall. You can do that in your own home. So if you want to talk about that a little.
Yeah, so basically with the programs that we offer for residential customers, it's those 3 programs that we talked about: the home energy assessment, home weatherization, and our rebates. The way we work really well with the state's program is that our rebates are an enhancement to the rebates that the customer gets. So when we advertise our rebates to customers, we're not only telling them what they get from us, we will tell them what they get full picture from us and add on to what they would get from clean energy. So we would say that, for an example, if you upgrade qualified furnaces, boilers, or hot water heaters, you can get up to $1,400 in rebates. That's the combination of the 2 programs. So we will tell people that. With our home energy assessment, there's 3 potential paths a customer can take. The first path is that the assessor will say, your house is great, there's no additional work that's needed. Doesn't happen very often.
I was just going to say, good luck with that.
And that's path 1, and they're done.
Right.
Path 2 is the assessor may say, you need some basic air sealing and insulation, kind of what you were talking about in the attic. And that would keep them in the Elizabethtown Gas program, where they would be recommended to another contractor who would provide a lower cost for the customer because we incentivize that. So we make it affordable. Exactly.
Oh,
we do the recommendation and we make it affordable. The third path is, let's say the assessor says there's way too much work that needs to be done in this home. So what we would do at that point is we refer them to the New Jersey Clean Energy Program's Home Performance with Energy Star, which is a great program. Not only do we refer them, but we take all the assessment information, everything that was done in the house, and we pass it on to that program. So they could just basically pick it up from where we left off. So we try to make it simpler and very, very smooth for the customer to transition from our program into the state's run program.
That is great. And what I started out saying, it's the 2 greens. You're saving energy, which is so important, but you end up saving money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is just great. Now, I want to go back to something, we did some emails back and forth before we did the show, and you talked about vampires? What are vampire devices?
Yeah, so vampire devices are devices in your home, electronic devices in your home, that are using energy even when they're in the off position. Similar items like video game systems, televisions, and even if you move into your kitchen, microwaves and coffee makers and things like that. So even as long as they're plugged in the wall, they could potentially still be pulling energy, even if they're turned off. So it's smart to unplug those devices when they're not in use, so that you're not being victim to the vampires.
Right.
And also another way is to purchase a smart strip, a smart power strip. So what happens is there's a master plug. So let's say you have a TV with lots of accessories. You could plug the TV into the master plug on this power strip, and all the other plugs down the line will follow the leader, so to speak. So when you turn the TV off, it'll turn off your DVD player and your Xbox and whatever else.
Automatically.
Right. So those are some ways to prevent vampire devices from, stealing your money unbeknownst to yourself.
So I got to go head out to the store now.
That's right.
One of those trips. So one of my everybody's got their little crazy things, is the phone chargers and all of those things. I'm always, pulling them out, not letting them just hang there. And I imagine that's another great waste of power, because as long as that's plugged in there, the energy is coming out the other side, correct? Right.
So depending on what type of device you have plugged in the wall, it could be pulling a lot of energy out of the wall, depending on how old let's say it's a television, how old the television is, or what type of TV it is. So it's really, you'd have to do some research online to see, how much your device is using in the off position.
Right. There used to be an old wives' tale that you use more energy turning lights on and turning things on and off. But that is an old wives' tale, and it's certainly not the case, correct?
Right. That's why we have programmable thermostats, right? Because we want things to turn off when we're not at home and then come back on. So we want to be able to program things so that they work around our schedule, and they turn off to save energy when we're not there, and they come back on when we need them and when we're home.
Right. And so you're always comfortable.
Right.
But you're not wasting anything.
That's right.
So another thing that I wanted to touch on, I don't know if you're familiar with, well, I know you are because we talked about it, but Sustainable Jersey is a program that Woodbridge Township is very active in, and we are very proud to be the champion since it started, except for the one year when they asked us to let somebody else be the winner. But which the mayor always said, I regret that you let me talk me into that. But and so because of Sustainable Jersey, we have all learned a lot about how to be more sustainable. And as we've gotten those 1,000 points, we've done a lot of great things around here. And both of your organizations support Sustainable Jersey. Susan, you told the story of how you got involved, and it's a little bit of a pat on my back and the mayor's back, but if you could share that story, that would be great.
Oh, absolutely. So we are a brand new sponsor for Sustainable Jersey, and we basically have a shared interest in providing energy efficiency information to people in our communities. And we are, really impressed by all of the network of champions, especially those here in Woodbridge. In fact, it was after learning about all those award-winning efforts that you guys have done that interest sparked in what is this Sustainable Jersey, how do I get involved, and I did a lot of research at that point, and then I signed up as a sponsor. So it was, thanks to you guys that it brought me in. I wanted to be a part of what you guys were doing.
That is such a great story, and I also sit on the board of Sustainable Jersey, and we're very excited and grateful that you're a sponsor and a new sponsor. And sitting next to you is PSE&G, and you are one of the original sponsors of Sustainable Jersey from the get-go. And I wrote down some numbers here. Since 2012, PSE&G has given $1.6 million in grants. So you have a lot of catching up to do here. This is a little bit of a challenge. But the beauty of these grants we call them small grants. They're from $2,000 to $10,000. And that is huge for a municipality because they can $2,000 can be a new program, a new pilot, a brand new idea. And that $1.6 million in grants has gone toward 329 projects in both municipalities and the schools. And I know that you have this is actually the PSE&G Foundation, so I can say this here because I can't influence you to give us the grant, but we actually put in for one of these grants. And I'm just saying this because it's an example of how creative a town can be. So as you're driving down our streets, you see our police cars, wherever there's construction going on, sitting there and idling. Because the police, if they need to take off, they can't wait to have to turn their back on. And they want to be able to sit in their car and either have some air conditioning or heat. They've got to work their computers. They need to have their power. But there are laws about anti-idling, and we tell all of our residents don't idle. So we put in a grant for, they have this new technology now where you can put in a separate battery, and switch the power over to the battery, do everything you want to do, and when you just have to hit a switch when the car needs to go somewhere. So we put in for that. We'll do a pilot and we'll do a comparison with a regular police car to see what the savings is both in the two greens, in energy and in green fuel. And these are the kind of innovative programs that PSE&G has been fostering throughout. So you can go back to your parent company and say, hey,
Absolutely.
But the programs that you do for the residents, that is just remarkable. And I'm just going to go talk about it to everybody. We'll have all the links up on our Facebook page that they can get to you and take part. And we have another minute, so I don't know if you have any closing comment that you want to wrap up with.
I really appreciate being here and that you're taking the time to talk to us today. And anything that we could do to further help within Woodbridge, we're there for you.
Thank you.
I'd second that, and I also say make sure that everyone in Woodbridge goes and has their furnace tuned this before the winter season really gets underway here to make sure that that's running efficiently and safely.
Great. Well, thank you both for being here. I'm sure that everybody is going to learn a lot, and hopefully your phone will be ringing off the hook for both of you and all of the wonderful programs you have. So thank you for watching Greenable Woodbridge. Thank you for being part of the excitement and part of the change.